Hi, this is Matthew. This is my 25th video. No, 26th video, I believe. And I want to tell you what happened at Toronto South Detention Center, at jail in Toronto. Toronto South Detention Center. Uh, this was about maybe 5 to 7 years ago. Okay, I was at the jail. I was in segregation. They always put me in segregation. And I got an infection in my legs, and the infection got so bad that my legs looked bigger than elephant legs, bigger than the thighs in elephant legs, from my feet to the top of my legs. And they left me in a cell for about 3 or 4 weeks like that, with it getting worse every day. And they were looking in the window and laughing and telling jokes, and they left me like that. And I I couldn't believe it. I was begging to go to the hospital, and I didn't do anything wrong. And then they left me in a cell so long, and my feet were bending over. My feet were hanging over were so swollen and red and purple, and they were swollen, sticking way up in the air and bending over my toes. My skin was folding over my toes, from behind my toes, from the top of my toes, before your toes start, like on your foot. The skin was bending over and swollen up in the air, like big lumps coming over my feet. I couldn't even recognize my feet. And I got them to take photos. They probably deleted the photos, but I got the captain to take photos of how bad it was. And they didn't say a word to me for 3 or 4 weeks about if they were going to help me. They had to carry me from the shower. They only let me have like one shower while I was there. There was a captain there. There was a sergeant there. His name was Sergeant White, Captain White. And he was the only one who would talk to me when I first got there. And he stopped seeing me after the last time he saw me. My leg infection was so bad that he had to get the guards to carry me out of the shower. My my legs were so swollen and painful, I couldn't get out of the shower. They carried me to my cell and left me in my cell, and that was the last time I saw Captain White. I think the manager of the jail told him to stop coming to see me. And the leg infection was severely, like the worst thing you've ever seen. Red and purple and severe swelling, bigger than the upper thighs of an elephant's leg, from ankle to top of my leg. And I don't know why they did that to me. They were torturing me. And I ended up, the Captain White took some photos, and there was another sergeant that helped me for a bit, and then he stopped seeing me too. The manager of the jail or something told him to stop helping me and not coming to see me. And he took photos, and they took photos of how bad the swelling was from behind and front. I stood up on the bed. I told them I want photos, and I think they probably deleted all the photos because they want to cover up the evidence that they tortured me. And I ended up going to the hospital 3 or 4 weeks later, when the swelling got worse and worse and worse, and it was extremely bad to begin with, extremely bad. And it got worse. And I don't know why they left me in the cell for so long. And then they took me to the hospital after begging for the entire 3 or 4 weeks every day, and them looking in the window and saying it's bad, stuff like that, and laughing and joking. And I don't know why they did that to me. And I was shouting for help. I was shouting for help, and nobody would help me. And they sent the same guards every day, so the same guards were there every day. There was a black lady that used to come see me, come look in the window, and they just watched it get worse and worse. She watched it get worse and worse every day. And she would smile at me and pretend everything's fine. They tortured me. I know they did this all on purpose to hurt me. And so after 3 or 4 weeks of the severe swelling for the entire 3 or 4 weeks, and red and purple legs and everything, and spots, splotches and everything of bloody splotches and everything, and my legs were busting open and bleeding. They took me in a wheelchair and covered my legs with a sheet to make it look like nothing was wrong with me. Because none of the prisoners that would have been witnesses could have seen anything, because we were all in segregation. We were all in single cells by ourselves. Nobody could witness it, so they covered my legs with a sheet when they took me out in a wheelchair. And they acted like everything was fine, everything was normal. And then this big black copper on the way out was like, "Oh, I've seen worse than that. You think that's bad? I've seen worse than that." And then they put me on antibiotics as soon as I got to the hospital. And they were cracking jokes. The guards that took me to the hospital were cracking jokes and talking when I was like, "Can you stop talking?" And they were in the room with me watching me. And they got off on it. They got off on all that. And this girl kept talking for like 2 or 3 hours while I was at the hospital. And the guard and I was like, "Can you be quiet?" And I had my head covered with a sheet. And then when I was at the hospital, I heard the nurse say, "Oh, it's bad. Look, it's bad." They must have been so shocked. And then uh, they put me on extremely high dose of antibiotics or something like that, something to cover up what they did to me. And ever since then, my legs can't swell. Ever since then, it did severe damage. My legs can't swell anymore. So my injury was shackles that used to make my legs swell up to handle the pressure. They don't swell up anymore ever since they gave me the antibiotics. They put me to sleep at the hospital with the antibiotics and left me in a cell to torture me, treat me like an animal at the hospital. And ever since then, my legs can't swell up. Before that, my legs were swelling up since 2016 from my injury with shackles at Hamilton Jail. My legs used to swell up after walking like having a good walk, like a kind of quicker walk. My legs used to be able to handle walking more. Now I can hardly leave my house, hardly ever, and my legs don't swell, so the damage can't be contained properly with the swelling. If you know what I mean, like the damage, they don't swell up anymore from my shackle injury in 2016, because of the antibiotics they gave me and because they left the swelling for so long. It did severe damage. So normally your body swells up when it's hurt, like that with shackles, and then from walking with the injury, my legs used to swell up, and now they won't swell up for that many years now, for 5 or 7 years, and I've been hardly walking ever since. So it did severe damage to my legs because they did that to me. and I thought I was going to lose my legs, and I was terrified and traumatized while I was at the jail, and I thought I was going to die the whole time. And I can't believe everything I've been through. If you listen to my full story, you wouldn't believe my full story. So please listen to all the videos I posted here. Please listen to all these videos. Thank you.